Welcome, gathered friends, to the Chima Retrospective. I'm your host, Paleozoic Bricks, and today we're looking at set 70005, Laval's Royal Fighter. It was released in the winter wave of January 2013. It came with 417 pieces and retailed for $39.99. Seeing the battle rage on, Laval steps in to save the land of Chima with his Royal Fighter. Or his father's Royal Fighter, to be precise. Nevertheless, the battle continues. This set comes with 3 minifigures, 2 lions and 1 crocodile. Naturally, let's start off with the titular character of this set, Laval. He is the main character of the theme. What's more fascinating is it took us 6 sets to get to one with him in it. Laval is the prince of the lion tribe. He is headstrong and still has a lot of learning to do when it comes to being a great leader. He is young at heart and loves the thrill of adventure. Laval has the standard cape that has been used on minifigures since 1999. It's a good signifier that a minifigure is special. In Chima, it is used for royalty or leaders of a faction. I think what makes capes special is that they are rarely seen outside of licensed themes. So, as a kid, they were some of the first capes I had on minifigures. Laval comes with the Royal Valius. It is said that it, as well as its twin blade, were some of the first weapons created in Chima. The ancient blade is crafted out of leochium, a golden metal found at the foot of Mount Kavora. The Valius has been passed down from the first king of the lion tribe all the way down to Prince Laval. It is said to even enlighten and protect its bearer. It's a weapon for only the bravest and most loyal protectors of the land of Chima. Longtooth is an older warrior of the lion tribe. Instead of joining the other elders as a tribal leader, he chooses to stay in action as a great lion warrior. As a veteran of the lion tribe, he loves to tell his tales of battles long since past. He's long past his prime, but he still loves the thrill of it all. At his age, his greatest enemy is not a crocodile soldier or a wolf bandit, but his aches and pains. Hopefully his back doesn't give out mid-battle. The final minifig is the chief crocodile thug Crawley, the same seen in previous sets. He comes with the Swamp Pulsar. It's designed with stealth operations in mind. It's made of magnetic metals, and the fangs are made of crookstone. The material is found in the depths of the crocodile swamp. It glows in the dark and works as a passable flashlight. I feel like I should mention this, but the real pieces do not glow in the dark. It's normal red plastic you see everywhere. It's just a neat little part of the lore. Yet again, we go straight into the set itself with the Royal Fighter. It's a 4-tread tank, but it's also got a lot of buggy influence with all the panels that are on it. Of the sets in the first wave, it's arguably the most technic and spindly compared to the other more traditional system sets. That might be a reason why the lion vehicles are some of the most divisive of the theme. Up until now, while there has been some technic in the sets, nothing has been built like this set. Depending on who you are, this can be a great or absolutely horrible thing. But let's find out the quality of this set, shall we? Starting with the front of the Royal Fighter, it looks like it's about to pounce into action. On the sides of the treads are chi-powered claws, similar to the lion attack. The claws, if you ask me, don't seem like the most functional weapons, at least compared to the claws on the lion attack. While those you can at least clearly ram into another tank, with the Royal Fighter, I don't think that's a good idea. Just like the lion attack, they are powered by chi, and even have a tube connected to the chi reactor. The treads themselves have an interesting story to them from the designer Hans in his notes on the set from Brickset. The older version of the mold when it would come out was in an 8 shape. These on the Royal Fighter came out of the mold in an O shape. This change was due to the fact the 8 shape made rolling harder. Hans even described the motion of the treads as bumpy. Chima is not a slow-moving theme. so that bumpy factor needed to go. Notably, he states they were mostly used on bulldozers and the like, but they weren't? At least from what I've seen, they haven't been. So the treads used in this set are part X1681 on Bricklink. Here's the issue. The part was first seen on the mobile defense tank in Exoforce, or at least the first version of this mold if they were in the 8 shape. But the previous version, part 680C01, was used for construction vehicles. Where I find the confusion is in the fact he makes it sound like it was being explicitly made for Chima. Well, that's because it seems like it was. He states that these treads are made of a softer material than the older treads. In molding, there was even an issue with shrinking. So Bricklink doesn't take account of this mold and material change, but the issue becomes, how can you tell the difference? I know I can't even tell of a change. Maybe this running change should stay undocumented to keep confusion low if it's not already known. Moving to the head of the lion. Wow, this is a really beautiful head. It really shows the strength of the LEGO system. It's curved in the right way to give it an organic feel, but it has certain details that almost feel mechanical, to remind us this is not a real animal. I have to say, I love the choice of blue representing the eyes. It really complements the color of the set, as it should, as blue and orange are complementary colors. The jaw opens up and can even capture Crowley. It's not the most useful jaw in the lineup, but I'd say it's a necessary detail. If a LEGO animal head this big didn't have a jaw, can it even be a good head of a LEGO animal? The mane has movable parts, but inside of it is the driver's seat for Longtooth. This is the perfect place for the pilot to be seated. Comparing it to the Lion Attack, the cockpit is in a way better spot than that set. Longtooth can see the battlefield compared to Lennox, who has to struggle to see over the head. Moving behind the head is the main function of this set. There are 2 panels concealing the feature. If we look a little lower, there is a knob. Now if we twist this, a triple-barreled chi cannon springs up. And on the side you can spin the barrel thanks to this knob. It can also rotate, and there's a slight tilt for aiming. It's a really fun gimmick. Surprisingly, it doesn't have some sort of shooting function, but I'm glad it doesn't. Genuinely, imagination is better than having flick-fire missiles. In that sense, it's similar to the level of detail of Exoforce weapons. Not as realistic with the blue muzzle, but the reason is because it's chi. Even in this fantasy setting, it still feels real to the world. Finally reaching the back of the Royal Fighter, it has a console for scanning, or a hidden mission map. So the designer video calls it a scanning device, but websites like Amazon and Brickset call it a hidden mission map. As per LEGO tradition, it's up to you to decide. The Royal Fighter is similar to the Pack Tracker, where its DNA can be linked back to an older set. This time it's set 7706 Mobile Defense Tank from Exoforce. It should be easy to see why. They're both tanks with 4 treads and have cannons on the back with a gunner. It's only natural for there to be some comparison. I find each set has its own merits. The Royal Fighter has a beautifully ornate lion head, where the Mobile Defense Tank is sleeker and is armed to the teeth. This comparison brings up the contrast between old world and modern design philosophies. The Mobile Defense Tank is made for pure efficiency, as high-tech as the military-industrial complex can produce. The Royal Fighter feels like it was made by a skilled craftsman. It was made with pride and glory for the Lion Tribe. It may even be in some regards outdated. Most of the tech in Chima might be outdated, but there is never a need to upgrade and change their way of life, religion, and culture. This is compared to the arms race that was Exoforce. Their civilization is what people think Atlantis or Mu were like if they existed at all. The culture surrounding it feels very old, but their technological capabilities may even far surpass that of our own. I dare even ask, was Chima a stagnant civilization before the Civil War? Did those many years of peace lead to a state of decadence? Is war the only way to advance technologically and culturally? While these questions may be dark, I feel there is a need to ask them. Whether or not both themes had them as the author's intent, I feel we need to look at them side by side. We do see an evolution in the technology of Chima throughout the entire theme. It seems this evolution was spurred on by the war. But it should be noted that some materials say the war came after 1,000 years of peace.
For 1,000 years, animal tribes have ruled the land of Chima. Lions, crocodiles, eagles, wolves, gorillas, ravens, rhinos, and bears lived in peace. They played and worked together, cooperated and prospered, until the outbreak of the Chima conflicts.
As compared to the TV show that made it sound like the lions and crocs were feuding for those 1,000 years.
No need for bad blood between our tribes. Yes, there's been enough of that in the past.
I feel it depends on your interpretation of what those thousands of years of peace was, whether or not it's the Lego.com version or the TV show rendition. I also wonder if this possible stagnation was due to a lack of cultural diffusion, due to how isolated the land of Chima is. The lions and crocs, if they did go to war, possibly always fought the same way, with there never needing to be an arms race between factions. Advancements always held back by how the culture would determine war, and never wanting to deviate. But I must pose another question. Was there no stagnation at all, due to the civilization being in balance and one with nature? Will the question I pose in this video be answered in the future? Maybe, maybe not. Only time will tell. They are similar vehicles created for war but go about it in different ways. While the Royal Fighter is practical, it's still an ornate vehicle, a tank for the royalty of the Lion tribe. The Mobile Defense Tank is an efficient machine, built for the mountainous terrain, and is armed to the teeth with powerful weaponry for blasting the robot battle machines, whether land or sky. Laval's Royal Fighter seems like a simple set on the surface, but if you dig a little deeper, it may pose some of the deepest questions about the civilization of Chima itself. It might not be the absolute most interesting set in the lineup, but it is a necessary part to the world that is Chima. It fills a niche, and it fills it well. Sometimes that's all you can ask of something. Only by studying the evolution of something can you truly appreciate it. This set is no different with its lineage back to the Mobile Defense Tank. And the moral of today's story is... I've been watching too much Gundam and Macross. I'm Paleozoic Bricks, and unleash the power.